We're going to learn how to write out a relationship that's in vertex form and turn it into standard form. So this equation that's given to us here, uh, this is actually written to us in vertex form, and we're going to convert it into standard form. So what's really important that we recognize here is that there's actually a binomial here that we can multiply, and that's going to really help us along the way. So this section right in here, this x minus 8 all squared, is something that we can change and turn around. So we're going to take that equation and we're actually going to write it out as y is equal to 4, and then I'm just going to put a bracket up just so that we can separate what we're going to do. So we're going to actually multiply x minus 8 times x minus 8, because that's what the squared piece means. Okay, so we're going to keep that isolated in brackets. And then we obviously still have this plus 3 on the end that we have not yet dealt with, but we will deal with it. So now that we've expanded that out a little bit, we actually have to simplify this middle piece, this x minus 8 times x minus 8. And to do that, we're going to multiply through using our FOIL pattern. So we can take y is equal to 4, and then again we'll keep this piece here in brackets. We know that we can use our FOIL pattern to multiply the x times the x, and that's going to give us x squared. We can do x times negative 8. Will give us negative 8x. Then we do our inside, so negative 8 times x gives us another negative 8x. And then lastly, we multiply negative 8 times negative 8, which gives us positive 64. Okay, so again, we'll close up that bracket there. And we'll put in, leave that plus 3 because we haven't dealt with it yet, but we will. So now we're still looking at this part that's in the green box in the middle here. We need to collect our like terms. So in order to collect our like terms, we're going to, again, keep our green box up because we're not quite done with what we've got going on in the middle here. So we've got x squared minus, so negative 8x minus 8x actually will give us negative 16x plus 64. Okay, again, keep our green bracket. Note that plus 3 on the end. So now what we need to do is we're going to continue on with this. Now that we've simplified this middle term here, the green bracket, we've got a bedmiss problem. Okay, we've got in brackets this x squared minus 16x plus 64, and that's actually being multiplied by the 4 out front. So the 4 out front is a coefficient. So what we're going to end up doing is we're actually going to multiply through. So when I multiply through, what I'm actually doing is I'm multiplying this 4 times the x squared, this 4 times the negative 16x, and this 4 times the positive 16x. So when I multiply through all of those things, I'm going to end up with the following. I'm going to get 4x squared, and then negative 16 times 4 is equal to negative 64x. And then negative 4 times positive 64, or sorry, positive 4 times positive 64 is going to equal 256. Okay. Again, we still have to carry down this positive 3 because we haven't dealt with it yet. Okay. So now what we're going to do is we're going to collect all of our like terms. And in this case, our like terms show up on the end. So for example, that's our like terms that we need to deal with. Okay, so when we're dealing with our like terms, we've got y is equal to 4x squared minus 64x, and now 256 plus 3 is going to give us positive 259. Okay, so what we've done is we've gone through and we've expanded out. So again, I'll just quickly talk my way through this piece again. So in step number 1, we expanded out the binomial that we saw in the original equation, that x minus 8 all squared. We expanded that out to be x minus 8 times x minus 8 in these green brackets here in the middle. Then what we did is we used our FOIL pattern and we expanded that out further. We multiplied those two things together, and so in this green bracket in the middle, uh, we got the x squared minus 8x plus 64. Again, you'll notice on either side of the green brackets, the numbers haven't changed because we hadn't dealt with them. It's the multiplied by 4 and the positive 3 on the beginning and the end of the equation here are still in play. Then we once we simplified the stuff in the green bracket in the middle, we multiplied through by the coefficient out front. So every single, those three terms, x squared minus 16x and positive 64, each one of those terms was multiplied by the 4 out front. We still had the plus 3 at the back end that we hadn't quite dealt with. Then towards our final steps, after we did that multiplying by 4 thing, we still carried that positive 3 down. Then we collected our like terms, and so we added the 256 plus 3, and that's where we got the 259 at the end. So our final result is y equals 4x squared minus 64x plus 259. And that is how you convert from vertex form into standard form.